Barry Bryson here. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. We're continuing our study of the book of the book of Philemon, and we are talking about the different motivators that Paul brings to bear on Philemon, that he would do the right thing, the thing that he does not want to do, seemingly, which is to free his runaway slave who Paul has returned to him, Onesimus. We've talked about such a variety of motivators. We've talked about love. We've talked about virtue. We've talked about respect. We've talked about the personal history that they shared. We've talked about some stronger ones, some less warm and fuzzy motivators, like the expectations that everyone, the community, Paul himself, God in heaven, the culture at large, has for him to do the right thing. Today we want to talk about accountability. It's as if Paul is saying to Philemon, you may choose to do the wrong thing, but if you do, you're going to do it in front of everybody. And I mean everybody. If you're going to be a bad guy, everybody's going to know about it. I am, in this letter, preventing you from making the wrong choice in a closet or a back room. It's going to be in the spotlight, and everyone will see. How does he do this? Well, in the first place, whether you read Greek or not, you can tell that although we call this a personal letter, it's not just addressed to him. It's addressed to him. It's addressed to his wife. It's addressed to his preacher. And it's addressed to the whole congregation. And in fact, at the beginning and the end, the you um, is a plural. It is intended to be read publicly. So this personal letter written to Philemon is addressed to the whole congregation, his preacher, his wife, everybody. And it's intended to be read in front of everybody. This is Paul speaking directly to Philemon, but not privately to Philemon, because although he's speaking directly to Philemon, he is speaking publicly to Philemon. There's his accountability before God, because I pray about you every night. And God knows I'm praying about you. God sees, God knows what you're going to do. You're going to do it in front of everybody. You're going to be doing it in front of you're going to be doing it in front of God, and you're going to be doing it in front of me, and you will answer to me because I want you to get my room ready. I'm going to come stay at your house. And if you don't do what's right, we'll have a talk about it at that time. And then there's the larger church, because he talks about at the beginning of the letter how everybody in the church knows the kind of man Philemon is. Don't mess this up. And at the end, he says, these are all the people who know I've written this to you. Mark, Aristarchus, Demas, Luke, and all my fellow workers. They know that I've written this to you. I can't force you to do the right thing. But if you do the wrong thing, you're going to do it in front of everybody. You're going to do it in front of your wife. You're going to do it in front of your preacher. You're going to do it in front of your home church. You're going to do it in front of all the brothers. You're going to do it in front of my coworkers here in Rome. And guess what? When I show up later, we're going to have a talk about this because I'm planning to come your way. Accountability and the muscularity of the accountability that he brings to bear is just below the surface of the love and the respect and the virtue and the shared history that he primarily uses. But when he flexes that muscle, you know it's flexed, which means these things coexist. They exist simultaneously. One does not deny or negate the other. That in itself is an important lesson. Just because you hold someone accountable doesn't mean that you don't love them. In fact, it means that you do, because all of us will answer before God. And if you're dealing with someone who is bent upon doing wrong and cannot be reasoned with, you cannot permit that person to do it in secret. A person has to be held accountable for their deeds. That's and it's not the same thing as being punitive either. This is not punishment. This is openness. This is honesty. There's nothing that is done in secret that will not be made plain. I mean, that's part of the messianic age. And that's just the deal in the kingdom. And so it's such a powerful, muscular tool that he uses to get Philemon to do the right thing. There are a couple of others. I don't know that they're going to be as powerful as this one. Like I said at the beginning of our study today, I think this is the trump card that he plays. I didn't save it for last because he has a couple of more tricks to take. He has a couple of more cards to play. But this is the trump card. This is the card. I think that if Philemon was ultimately persuaded, this would have tipped the scales because he's having if he makes the wrong choice and decides to be the bad guy because that will make him feel better in the moment, he's going to do it in front of everybody, including God in heaven. Okay. We're going to next time talk about authority and the authority that Paul has to order him to do what is right. And we'll talk about that next time. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.